Hello, hello. Good morning, everybody. Just in time. That's right. Yeah, we're just getting started here, folks. Thank you very much for that raid. Today's kind of a special stream. We do class on Sundays, so I've done a whole tutorial series on how to create this dragon from start to finish. So a really hold your hand, follow along kind of tutorial. You guys can go back and check. There's playlists if you want to learn and follow along. But we've gotten to the point now where we're going to be demonstrating the painting, and that starts right now. So we sculpted this whole character start to finish, and now we're going to begin the paint job. So welcome in. Thank you so much for the raid there, Dex Bonus. I appreciate that. Thanks for kicking things off really, really wonderfully. Thank you. Okay, so how was the stream over there with Dex Bonus? Did you guys have a good relaxing Sunday morning with her? Well, let's see here. I think I do need to turn that. I will turn that light on, but not right now. So, okay, let's get into tutorial mode, shall we? So to begin our painting, you're going to need a painting palette of some sort. I'm using one of these little popper thingies, little fidgety things. This kind of new discovery. I saw somebody using one of these as a paint tray, and I was like, oh, that's a brilliant idea. So paint tray, check. You'll need some brushes. We got some brushes here. Now, there's regular artistic brushes. You know, I usually like a lot of detailed brushes that are, just kind of come to a point. But I also like a few of these kind of square brushes. And then with that, these makeup brushes for doing dry brushing. Makeup brushes make the best dry brushes, in my opinion. And we have a whole set of those. Let me see. Let me get you guys in here. Take a look. Okay, there we go. So there's the dragon. Got a bag full of makeup brushes here. All kinds of different sizes and shapes. This is for a technique called dry brushing mostly, which is kind of what makeup brushes specialize at doing. So, and then we got our paint tray. Cup of water, check. And some sort of paper towel or something like that. Always keep that handy. So that's how I like to start. And then, of course, the paint. Now, we're going to be using Reaper Miniatures paints. In the last class, I had only used the primary colors that come with the starter kit. This time, I'm going to use all the colors that I have at my disposal. Just know if you don't have the specific colors I'm using, it doesn't matter. You can just mix your own colors. So say I have like a light blue, you can just mix blue with a little bit of white and make your own blue. And of course, everyone is probably going to pick different color schemes for their dragon anyways. So I got the paints, we got the water, palette, paper towel, brushes. Next is I did some digging on reference. So let's go here. I went and looked at just a bunch of different color schemes. Just a bunch of various ones that really jumped out to me. and just kind of gives you an idea on what is the possibility of where your dragon, what your dragon could look like. And as you can see, most of them, it's like 2 or 3 main color tones. And that's what we want to keep in mind, like 2 or 3 main colors. Usually there's a back scale top part and then an underbelly part, which is usually a lighter color. So this one, I think, is the one that really kind of jumps out to me, kind of like more of like a blue and orange type of color combination. It was that one. Of course, the spiral looking one with the purple and the gold looked nice. And then I did like this one too. The only reason I might not want to do something like this is it's it doesn't read as very friendly, you know, and we're trying to get this like perception of this friendly dragon. So, but I really like how it looks. So I think so just kind of look over these and look through other references and try to just pick out, at least start with 2 main colors. And that's what I'm going to do here with this here. We got the orangey yellows on the bottom, and then like turquoisey blues up top. So that's what we're going to keep in our mind. And of course the plan can change, and you should allow it to change. If you start to see something better that you like as we're working, then definitely go for that. So okay, so I should have done this before I started, but now let me go through and pick out those colors from my paint collection here. So if you like I said, if you are starting using the starter kit, the Reaper miniature starter kit, then you'll want to figure out what colors you want and then mix those colors. Okay, we got, what's this? Mint green. Yeah, I think this one here, Surf Aqua. It's kind of like a turquoise blue. Sky blue. What's this one here? It's green, forest green. I'll pick like a darker, brilliant blue. Okay, there we go. I just picked out kind of like a darker blue, a middle blue, and then like the more turquoisey, lighter blue. And I'll grab this mint green too, because I could see that coming in handy for a highlight. Okay, and then, oh, now we're gonna not drop all my paints here. Okay. Next is the underbelly, which is a little bit oranges and yellows. So let's just grab a few. Ogre skin. That looks good. Buckskin pale. All right. Creamy ivory. Okay. Get these out here. Now, if you're mixing your colors, you're going to want to just mix as you go. You don't want to mix them all unless you're using a wet palette. That's true. Yep. Yep. I'll show that. That's a very good tip. Bright skin highlight. We need a little bit more orangey. Saffron sunset. There we go. Burnt orange. Okay, and then let me grab black and white. Pure black. Pure white. There we go. Okay, that should be enough to get us started. Move all these out of the way. Okay. Let's take the wings off of the dragon, since we're going to be getting into the painting. This is the nice part about making these detachable. This is my first time detaching this one, so let's see here. All right, that worked out really good. If anyone's subscribing or tipping, I will, once we get out of the tutorial phase, go back and thank you all. So thank you very much. Appreciate that. Let me grab camera settings. Let's see here. Let's see. Let's go to like 195. There we go. Put on our painting filter. Okay, so we are going to start with the dragon today. Today I'm going to focus on teaching how we're going to approach painting the dragon. And then next week we'll do another lesson on painting, and we'll go into doing the books, how to finish off the base, and how to do like final touch-ups. Like, you know, I could see doing a little dot of a UV resin for the eye, you know, really making the eyeball pop, stuff like that. So here's the colors. We got pure black, okay, pure white, and for our kind of yellows, we got buckskin pale, saffron sunset. And this is what I do. We put a dot of paint on the cap so you can actually see how the colors look. All, you know, when they're in your bin that you're carrying them in. So this is a bright skin highlight, ogre skin, burnt orange. There we go. Creamy ivory, that's like the really highlight. So that's all kind of like our underbelly colors. Hello, dragon. This is Brilliant Blue. Brilliant Blue. Sky Blue. And Mint Green, you can see, and Surf Aqua. Now you can't really see these colors, can you? I think we need a different filter here for these ones. Let's turn the filter off for now. Hey, there we go. Surf Aqua, Mint Green. Here's all our colors. We're gonna start with, I can get more if we need it, but I think this should be enough. Okay, let's see here. Let's bring this over. Okay, so the question is, okay, where do we start? A lot of people will prime their sculptures. You don't need to prime your sculpture with Cos clay. The paint really sticks to it very well. But usually what I like to think of is what's the hardest to reach spot on the piece, and let's start there. So the hardest to reach areas are definitely the underbelly here, kind of everywhere underneath. This is all easy to reach on the exterior. You know, it's easy to paint and do details and stuff like that. So let's start with the hardest to reach spot, which is all up in here. And that way we can be really sloppy about it, and we don't have to worry about we don't have to worry about messing any of the work we've done, because we haven't done anything else yet. So that answers that question. That means we're going to start with the underbelly kind of skin color here, which we have these kind of areas where there's this kind of skin. Okay, so what color do we start with? Usually I like to start with the darkest of the colors, which the darkest one I pick out here I think is this this burnt orange. But I might want to do an even darker orange than what this is. So, and I feel like if we mix black into this, it's probably going to go a little bit like muted into like a grayish. So usually when you mix black with orange, it turns into brown. So let me grab a really vibrant colored orange. Oh, look at this one. Lotus orange. Just to kind of zap some color hue back into it if it does go kind of gray. So, okay. First, before we do any of this, let's mix. We'll mix that. Let's set saffron's burnt orange. We'll start with that one. Burnt orange. You know what? Let's just start with burnt orange and see if it's too bright. We can always go back over with another coat, or even just do like a wash of like a brown. Okay. Now I find when I'm painting you have to be a little bit impulsive on your decision making, especially with colors and stuff. And the more you kind of go through that process of picking a color, adding it, seeing how it works, the more familiar you get with the colors that you have. I think it's very easy to get stuck with being too indecisive. But just remember, the more layers of color you add, the better the result is. So it doesn't hurt you to add a color that might not be the perfect color, and then you can layer on top of it to kind of refine it to the finish line, you know. So you'll never. I think there's a lot of angst to adding color, and then it's the wrong one, and then you feel like you've ruined the piece. But you can always layer on top. Okay, hold on, I got the new filter here for the camera. Just a second. Let's see here. Okay, here we go. I'm gonna start with burnt orange. And it's kind of like, it's like an orange that's, oh, you know what, clogged. That's another thing you need to keep on hand is some sort of a pokey tool, like so. And if you're using these types of bottles, they often get clogged, so just a little needle tool. And there we go. It's on the tipping point of becoming brown, this type of orange. Clogged orange, yeah. All right. Got like not a small brush, but not too big of a brush. We're gonna dip it in the water and just Not so it's like soaking, but just a little bit. Almost like you got 1 drip's worth of water in there. To kind of thin the paint just a smidge. Just helps the paint kind of flow a little bit better. There we go. And we're gonna start working in these harder to reach areas. And like I said, this is the first coat. It's the hardest to reach area, so I'm not really being concerned about getting it on the parts that's not supposed to be orange. We just want to make sure that we get everything covered in those areas. You don't want to find out later that you missed some of the gray down in there, and then you have to go back in, and it becomes very difficult. And when you're doing your layers of paint, I like to create a little bit of an overlap. You know, because if you have, let's say, a blue meets an orange, and you do the line like in the middle like this, sometimes there's a little bit of gray in the middle, so it's better to just do orange and then do blue like this. So there's, even if there's a spot you miss, at least there's some color down there. So okay. Now this orange is not totally covering the gray. It's a little bit translucent, so what we'll do is we'll probably do 2 coats. Definitely difficult to reach. This would be a nice area to get to if we had made the character detachable from the base. I need some more color. I think I like the color though. I think that's a good starting point. Do you ever use large brushes? Sometimes a little bit larger than this, but not too much. Maybe like a 1/4 inch brush at the most, you know. You don't want to be applying the paint too recklessly, and then you like leave behind like a, you know, like big globs of paint where you shouldn't. When paint dries, it dries from the thinnest areas first. So as you're applying these coats, you're kind of going back over the areas that you're going back over the areas that you already did and respreading any thicker areas of paint. So that was a little bit too much water, but that's okay. Definitely lifting the piece and changing the angle that you're looking at it will help you see spots that you might have missed. Make sure you do that often. It's also good to have good lighting in your workspace where it's not creating too much harsh shadows where you're just missing whole areas because of a darker shadow. Okay, this is almost coated pretty good here. Okay. There's a little spot missing right there. Let's kind of turn it around and look at it from different angles here. So the hardest to reach spot is base coated. Now what we'll do is we'll just take the same color we got going on here, and we're gonna paint in all the areas that I've sculpted that look kind of like this rough skin material on the dragon. So we got along the bottom side of the tail here. Really pushing the paint into those little deep details, you know. We don't want to leave any unpainted surfaces behind. It's okay to paint an area orange if you're unsure about it too, you know, like if you don't have to say, okay, this area is for sure going to be the orange color. You can always go back and change the colors. It's just good to kind of lay it down and get your base colors down and see kind of how it's working as a composition, and then make changes if you want to. Okay. It's always nice. The first layer is always nice and easy because we're able to be very sloppy with it. Okay, again, we're gonna look at it from different angles here. Notice how I go back over areas I've already painted, because like I said, as the paint dries, the thin areas will dry first, and then the thicker areas of paint will still be wet, and so you can almost just kind of re-spread and just make sure that you're not leaving behind like big pools of it. A little bit of a miss spot right there. I'll probably do another coat on the bottom of the tail here once it dries. Okay, let's get some more color. Water, thin it out. I typically always thin the paint just a little bit, unless it's a color that really doesn't cover very well. If you thin it, you want it to be still not like a wash, but just a little bit more thin than how it comes out of the bottle. It just helps it kind of flow around the piece better. Okay, let's see, we got this little area here. We're just gonna keep working our way around and painting these little orange areas, rough skin patched areas that I decided during the sculpting phase. And I'm gonna leave a little bit of overlap, you know, I'm not gonna want the color to overlap into the scales a little bit. All right, looking good. Thank you, Single. Bottom of the foot. Let's see here. I must switch my brush to a more of like a square. I tend to like square brushes better. These flat one or flat brushes. Shorter bristles, so a little bit more I don't know, a little bit more control. Okay, the face will also be this color. Just go ahead and go around the eyes and just paint the whole eye area. It's important with this coat, you're being very the base coat should be very well, well done. You always want to really make sure that you get everything covered. It's like the foundation to your paint job. It's going well. It's going well for me. It's been a nice weekend. Oh, that's rough. That's definitely rough. Sorry to hear that. Do the best you can. That's all you can do. Can't do more than that. All right, let's really make sure I get inside these nostrils here. All right, bottom of this foot. Just got to do the bottoms of both the feet. I think those are the last sections. Hey, how you doing, Toad? Oh, that's wow. I didn't realize that area we created. Holy cannoli. Now that's a hard to reach spot right there. might even be impossible to reach. But if it's impossible to reach, you can't see it either, so we'll probably deal with that area by kind of maybe spraying with the airbrush a darker color, kind of creating a shadow or something like that. If you don't have an airbrush, then you would just really try to get the paint in there with like a darker color, maybe like a brown or something like that, just to kind of create that area in shadow. Oof. Okay. Yeah, start by looking into OBS Studio. Once you figure out OBS, just watch a couple YouTube videos. Once you get the hang of that, then you're pretty much good to go. Let your quest begin. It's a little bit complicated at first. It seems like it, but all right. You know, and there's a lot of different ways to approach painting, you know, like, okay, so some ways I've done it where we will finish this orange area before we even move on to the next color. By finish, I mean doing all the shading and dry brushing and highlighting and just like a totally finished orange area. Or other ways I've worked is where we will base coat everything. We'll base coat all the colors, base coat it in, and then kind of work through each section and do the shading and, you know, all that stuff. And I don't know, I've kind of bounced back and forth between those different ways, and there's no real like you have to do it this way. There's benefits to both. One of the benefit of like finishing this section first and then doing the next section is you no longer have to reach into these hard to reach areas. You know, you can kind of layer on top. I guess the downside is when you base coat everything, you can see how it's all working together. You know, if the colors are working together, if you like the way that the paint job's looking, it gives you like a preview before you put all that work into it, you know, so. Because let's say we get the blues and the turquoise colors onto the scales and we decide, you know what, I'm not really liking how this orange section is looking and I'd like to change it. Well, then you can change it, but you've wasted all that work, painting all the detail stuff, you know, getting all the shading and stuff done. So yeah, perhaps it's better to paint in the base colors first. The downside is once you paint it in the base colors, well, now you have to be more careful when you're doing your shading and your washes and all that stuff. But since this is an organic character, I'm not worried about a little bit of overlap happening is a good thing, you know, that, you know, some of the tones and stuff kind of blending together. Okay, let's see if I can get into this very difficult area that I created. There. Let's give another look. Just really make sure. Oh, you know what? We didn't quite finish the hand up here. Double, triple check. Yeah, this piece has a home now, so it's no longer available. Okay, now I think we're good. Let me just double check here. The more thorough you are here, the better, because after this point, it becomes, you have to be a lot more careful about how you apply the color. Right now is the sloppy stage, so we can really just get the color where we want it and not have to worry about doing edge work or anything like that. Okay. Let's take a look now. I'm already liking where this is going so far. There's definitely a lot more scales than there are like skin areas, so I could see a need to do different colored scales, not just all one, like a multicolored character here. Good morning, Greg. Okay, so now I'm asking myself the question in my mind. Oh, and by the way, you know what? We'll just paint one of these wings just to show you. But we would technically use the same color for the skin part on the wing too. So let's paint. We'll paint this wing, but I actually need to heat. I need to heat gun this and get rid of this hot glue first. So. Make sure to feather out paint where it doesn't need to be. What do you mean? All right, let me use this. I'm gonna use this heat gun. I'm gonna heat up this glue, and then we're gonna remove it with a cloth here. Okay. There's a little flashing here I'm going to remove as well. Okay. Now we're ready. So we would technically do this on the other wing too, but I'm just going to do the other wing as homework. Looks good. All right, just need a little bit more here. Okay. There's this little fleshy bit in between here too. There we go. Set that to the side. Okay, now we have to make a decision. Do we want to finish the orange area first before we do the other colors? I'm not sure. I am tempted to do a, do that. Because then we can be just as sloppy with the dry brushing and the washes. We just have to we would have to make sure it's not something we would want to change. I think what we'll do is we'll at least do a highlight dry brush layer and then a unifying wash. And then we can continue to add more onto that, but at least we have some of that. So let's start with the dry brush. Let's see here. Either buckskin pale or yeah, I think that's the one. Or we do this ogre skin color next, which is kind of like a potent yellow. But yeah, I'm not sure if I want that. I think this one right here. It's kind of like a yellowish tannish color. And we're gonna bust out our makeup brush and do dry brushing. Now, if you're unfamiliar with dry brushing, it's taking a brush, usually a wider brush. You can do that. You don't need makeup brushes. You can do this with pretty much any brush. I'd say if you don't have the makeup brushes, just use like a square brush like I was using for the base coating there. Let's see. I'll use this one. And we're going to load the brush up with paint, and then we're going to wipe most of the paint off onto a paper towel so that it's leaving just a trace amount of color as you brush over something. And what this will do is it'll naturally leave the paint in the highlight or the higher areas of the sculpture, and in the deeper recesses, color's not going to get in there. What's this color? It's like a yellowish tan color called buckskin pale. So yeah. Almost like a sandy, it's like a sandy color, but more leaning a little bit more on the yellow side. So to make this color, it would be yellow and white, essentially. And if the yellow becomes too strong, you can add just a smidge of black, and it will mute. If you ever want to make a color less vibrant, you can mix gray into it, or you can add black to the mixture, and it'll dull the color down. Just a tiny bit will do the trick, typically. Okay, so we're gonna put this here. There we go. And we put the brush. Work the paint into the bristles here. Okay, and then I'm gonna, like I said, I'm gonna remove most of it onto this rag here. And then I like to kind of see how I just dry brushed over my hand there. It really gives you a sense of how it's gonna apply onto the sculpture before I actually do it on the sculpture. So that's what I usually do. And then I'll go in here and I'm gonna start with the face, and we're just gonna start start adding our highlight in. Okay, yeah, it's starting to look really good. So as you're dry brushing, you're deciding which area you want to be more of the yellow color and which area you want to leave the orange. So I've left more of the orange here and kind of near the ridge of the nose, and then more of the highlight kind of near the lip line. So you just kind of, the more you brush an area, the more it'll have that color that's on the brush. So, all right, so. And after you dry brush once or twice, it's good to rinse the dry brush and kind of start fresh. But just make sure you really dry out the brush, because if there's a little bit of moisture left, it'll start to make the paint react way differently. So you won't get that nice light dusting if there's a little bit of moisture left. And if you don't rinse the brush every once in a while, the paint will act differently too. So. And the more paint you leave on the brush, the kind of heavier the dry brush will be. And you might want to do that for certain things, if you want the color to be there a little bit more. Let's see. And when you go in, say you have a heavier dry brush like I have right now. Start with the area that you want the most color until the brush kind of gets duller again before you move into those areas that you want there to be more of like a subtle fading. Once the dry brush gets a little weaker, then we're gonna want to redo it again. It's looking good so far. I am happy with the choice. I'm leaving the orange near the edge here and just really trying to highlight this middle area. And we can even go one layer higher with that cream. We have like a creamy ivory color. Or we can really create an even higher highlight. Maybe like right on the edge of the lip or something. Okay, we need more paint. All right. Looks like we just need to do the hand here. Let's do a little bit right here. A little bit more. So I tend to work on paint jobs in this manner, where we come up with a step and then we execute it across the whole piece, okay? And then we look at it and we think, okay, what's the next step? What's the next layer? Because we're thinking about not just applying a color that will be the finished product, but we're thinking about, okay, how can we layer our way up to the finished result? Okay. Now I'm thinking we might do either this one or what's this one? The creamy ivory color as a smaller highlight. So we'll use a smaller brush and we'll just hit a smaller area with this color. Oh, I should also, you know what? Before I get ahead of myself, we need to do the wing. I almost forgot the wing. So the more drastic highlight will be right on these ridges here. So we'll start there. Okay, underside here. Now when you brush with the flow of the detail and the lines, it's going to kind of go deeper into the sculpture. But if you brush against the grain, usually does better for the dry brushing. There we go. Good. I think for the sake of time, otherwise this will become like a 5-hour class, we're going to move on to the next color. But just know that I will probably do more dry brushing with more layers of brightness, and then a unifying wash. And what that is just kind of like maybe like a really subtle brown, really watery wash over the whole area, and that will kind of bring everything together. I might still show the unifying wash part, but let's move on to the scales. So let's see here. Now we get to make some decisions as far as scale color goes. Sometimes it's easy. It's sometimes easiest if we just start with one color and get all the scales colored with that one color, and then we work in some variation. So instead of trying to figure it all out, let's figure out, okay, what color will be the majority of the scales, and we'll paint them all that color, and then we go back in and add in variation. And let's see here. I don't know if we're going to do the darkest or the lightest version of the color. I think we'll start with, pretty much if you start with the lightest version, then you're going to use a lot more washes to get your final result. If you do the darkest color, then you got to do a lot more dry brushing. I don't know if I want it to get too dark, so I think what we'll do is we'll start with a middle color, like our medium tone. Possibly even the sky blue, which is a little bit lighter actually. I want the dragon to stay of a lighter tone. Oh, the colors are all over there. Yeah, you know what? Let's just go with that. My instincts say we're going to do sky blue to begin with here. So we got this. It's not like super light. We could still go lighter than that. And it's not dark, you know, it's not like this. So we will begin. And I think if we want to add darkness, we'll do washes on top of the this color. Okay, so sky blue. Now I'm going to use, we'll go ahead and use this brush, but I'm going to stay away from the areas that are on the edge. We're just going to get the bigger areas covered with this. And we got to be a little bit more controlled here. There's a lot of little deep, hard to reach spots, so we gotta really make sure we get this blue into all those in between the scale areas. Ooh, I like how that's looking already. So again, I'm not gonna address the edge with this brush. I'll go back in with a smaller brush to do the edge, to bring that paint right up to the edge. See, I feel like if we would start with a darker color on this, it would take away that cuteness factor. It'd become too like just too dark, you know. So starting with a brighter color or even a middle tone, and then decide if we want to add darkness into it. But I always think of like when you look at like poisonous frogs or any sort of reptile in reality, they usually don't have like really dark darker colors. Is usually more brighter and vibrant. So I could see some areas where we'll have some variation would be like where these smaller scales are compared to the bigger scales. We can do like slightly different tone of blue. And then these longer spikes and horns, I can see doing some sort of a neutral color like black or brown. Or even like even a whiter color. Hello, class. Need more paint. I want to send it out a little bit too much. It's okay. Okay. But also see that we'll do a different color for these scales on his chest here. But like I said, we're sticking with the game plan of let's just get it all blue first, and then we'll make that decision from there. Yeah, I'm not sure. We could either go lean to the green side or of the spectrum or purple. Greens or purples, I could see. I mean, I do have this this mint green here. Purple on top, like a darker, yeah, purple reads darker, and then like this aqua color. Or this on the bottom and then purple on the top, on the back scales, yeah. There seems to be that dynamic of lighter tones near the belly and darker tones towards the back. Same thing you see in like sharks, you know. It's all because of, it's all for the sake of usually camouflage in the natural world. Same with snakes. That's one thing you can experiment with, is shading with a different color or highlighting with a different color. You know, like taking this blue, instead of highlighting with a lighter blue, we highlight with that mint green, you know, and that'll create a different effect than if we were to just to lighten the blue and highlight with blue. Oh, we missed an orange area. Oops. This right here should be orange. Let's go back and do that really quick. Not being consistent with my base coat here. Okay. Let's just get that filled in here. called counter shading since the sun is bright on the top. Ah, okay. That's the technical term for it, huh? How many hours on this? Well, this is for the class, and this is, I think, what, the 15th session? So there's 30 hours of class right there. Let's just say maybe another 30 hours of homework, maybe more. I'd say maybe like 80-ish, 60 to 80 hours. Which is not too bad. Clogged. I'd say the base coating can be very, you know, it's definitely a process that takes a while to do it because you want to be thorough, so. Yeah, I agree. It's a nice blue. Well, and we got a little bit of a complementary color action going on here with the orange and the blue. They complement each other. A little bit of color theory going on there. That's why the dragons with purple and yellow look so nice together too. No, I think it's my green screen. I have to fix that. Driving everyone crazy, that little spot. Let's do some on the head here. I'll fix it here in a second. Let's see here. It's still there. Dang you. Dang you. Right about there. I have an idea. Need a piece of tape. One second, I'll be right back. Okay, I think we're good now. Problem solved. No, it's good. I prefer you guys tell me things like that so I can fix them than to not tell me. Okay, let's see here. It's gone. It's gone now. Okay, good. Let's get some more paint. Continue our base coating. That's the edge right there. Let's paint these. Okay, so now we're going to shift gears because, you know, we want to keep things moving forward as far as the demonstration goes. So let's just focus on this leg, the singular leg. And, yeah, you like this? Yeah. Not my original idea. I saw it from somebody else, and I was like, ooh, I'm going to do that. That's such a good idea. So yeah, let's base coat this leg, and then I'm gonna show you guys how I plan to finish this leg, and this will give you the recipe on pretty much how to do the rest of the dragon. So let's get it all base coated here. Just know that each step you see me doing on this one leg, I would be doing each step over the whole piece. You know, especially if you're mixing colors, it's going to make it so you know, once you've finished the step, you shouldn't need that color that you've mixed again. But you will run into situations where you'll need a color that you had used and you mixed it and you'll need to mix it again. Just always be aware, trying to always be aware of the amounts of that you're using to make certain colors, and you know, you never have to really mix it so it's exactly the same. It just has to be pretty close. Okay, I'll switch to a smaller brush for here. Okay. Yeah, you can be very meticulous with your mixing and even write down the drops, like how many drops, because if you have, especially if you have droppers, you could measure it down to an exact, or you're even using a dropper here, like one of these little squeeze droppers for the water too. You know, you can even do that. I'm more of like a, you know, do things by feel kind of thing, you know. But you can be as meticulous with it as you want, whatever works for you. I'm also like that with my cooking, where instead of like measuring a precise measurement of salt, I just pour it into my hand and grab a pinch, and you know, it's all like a feel type of thing. Okay, let's see. Measure with your heart. But some cases, you know, like say I was making a recipe, I would need to measure so that way it could be recreated Say you're doing like something that is really precise with the colors. So I switched to the smaller brush, and now I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to get this nice crispy edge going here. Now this can be something when you're new to painting that you kind of have to go back and forth when you're doing your edges, because you accidentally get the paint in the area that it's not supposed to be. I promise that gets less the more you practice painting, but it's gonna happen. So you just kind of let it dry, go back over with the other color. Now I like to paint so like the sculpture here, the clay, there's a really nice crisp edge here, so it's really easy to get that nice. That's why I like about painting my work specifically, is I have these really nice deep details, so I can use the natural formations of the piece to make the painting job a lot easier. And it's much easier to paint what's underneath first and then do the edge of what's above. You know, then you can just kind of use that edge to your advantage. Continue our edge work here. Yeah, the base coat will always, it's like the piece comes to life once there's color involved, you know. You get so used to looking at it without color, and that's the magic of seeing it come to life kind of in a very short amount of time. I always enjoy that. So here's something I did. So on see these scales right here, these little round ones, I've painted the area orange, okay? And I also did that on the face here. These scales right here. And what I do is when I paint the scale, I'm kind of dry brushing it a bit. So the paint's not going in between the scales, but it's just going on the top. And what's going to do is going to help this kind of blend happen between the oranges and the blues, where the skin underneath the scales is, you can see through, and it's becoming more, you know. And then as I get further into the scaled area, you're seeing less of that orange, but it kind of creates like a nice kind of transition. There's that really difficult spot here. Just try to get it as best we can. Okay, one more edge right there. Oh, I made a mistake there. Okay, so see, I got a little bit of blue into the orange there. If you're quick, you rinse your brush, okay? And then we take our slightly drenched brush and we're just gonna rub that area. And then you take a paper towel and you absorb up that color, and boom, we're back to normal. Now that only works if you see it right away, okay? But it's a good trick to know. I mean, here, I'll show it in an easier to see area. Like, oops, got some blue there. And then we rinse the brush. We just get it really watery, the area. And it's gone just like that. Back to normal. Now, it has to be like right away. So if you didn't catch it till later, then you're just gonna have to let it dry and paint over it, okay? But if you catch it right away, just rinse your brush, get it watery, soak it up. It'll save you a lot of time. Okay. So we got our nice base coat going here. I think what we'll do now is we're gonna do a dry brushing. We're gonna do a highlight with dry brush. Then we'll do a highlight with like an edge highlight. And then we'll go over these areas with different kind of toned washes to add a little bit of variation. So let's pick out our color that will be our kind of our highlight color. I think we will just go with we're just gonna take this blue and we're gonna add white to it, and we're gonna highlight with that color. This won't be the final color. We're just trying to add value, and then we're gonna kind of glaze over that area with color variation, you know. So okay, so we'll add more of the blue. Let's grab some pure white. clogged. Put some white there. Now I will mix. I'm gonna scoop up some of that blue. We'll put it right there. Let's just take all of it because and we're just gonna start mixing in brushfuls of white at a time till we have the right tone that we want. I want it to be not just subtly brighter, but almost like 1 or 2 steps brighter. I think even a little bit more. I'll add some more white here. I'm using Reaper Miniatures paints. I definitely recommend them, but I'm not opposed to, other miniature paint brands are going to be really good too. But I personally have used Reaper quite a bit, and I really like all of their colors. It has every quality I want in a good paint. It's very high pigmented. The surface is very durable once it's dried, and the range of colors is really nice. So there we go. So let's start with that. We might find that we might want it a bit brighter, but we'll see that right away. Does it matter to do the highlights before and after wash? A lot of the times you're doing both. You're doing a lot of highlighting, then you're doing washes on top of the highlights, and that just kind of brings things together whenever you do washes on top of the dry brushing. But then you can go back in with highlight after that. And so you're kind of like you're like base coating, and then you're going back and forth between highlights, washes and glazes, more highlights, washes and glazes, and you're creating this like a very real look by the end of it is what you're hoping to do. So I just find when you just dry brush something, it has this kind of dry brushed look. Do you know what I'm saying? And when you do stuff on top of that, it's almost like you want to over exaggerate the highlights and then dull them back down to reality, so it doesn't have that dry brushed look. Like it's almost like when you create it's like a powdery kind of look, and then you're zapping color back into so the highlights look like they were done with like color instead of like a white kind of chalky look. So let me get a smaller dry brush here. A little bit more control with this chalky look. Yeah, kind of. There's definitely a particular dry brushed look that sometimes it looks fine, but okay. So we'll take our our highlight color here, load up our brush. Acrylic inks. I've seen a lot of people use those. I've not used them, so I can't really say. The world of paint, there's so many different paints and techniques and like effect paints and all kinds of stuff to play around with. It's truly it's a fun world to explore. Okay, so again, I use that to kind of see how it's looking on my finger there first. And we're gonna start with the high areas, so like these tips of these spikes. There we go. I'm gonna highlight just kind of where the anatomy's going. can already see this is a little bit more subtle. We'll probably want to make it brighter, just like I was thinking. Yeah, okay, let's just do that. A little bit more white. I've seen people use those inks, and they start with like almost like a white base paint, and then they kind of like inject color into the white with the inks. Okay. There we go. A little bit more noticeable. Okay, I'm gonna highlight kind of this calf area. I like to think of like a light source coming from the top down, you know, and you're just kind of picking out little points of, you know, this ridge line of this scale here. The top of this toe. I think we still could exaggerate it a little bit more. Let's do a little bit more white. That's right. Maybe this knee here can be a little bit more highlighted. Right, yeah. See, I'm keeping these like deeper areas, the backside more like darker. You know, you can really decide where you want your highlights and your shadows to be. Okay. Good. Now I could see taking, we could either take the same color or even a higher version of it. Let me just make some more here. You know, we'll probably have plenty. Yeah, we'll take pretty much the same color. Let me get it a little bit watery, not super watery, but just a little bit thinner than like a base coat. And then I'm going to take this and I'm going to do edge highlights on these larger scales. Right along the very edge. You can kind of just touch the side of the brush. Oh, nice. Man, these years are flying by. It always feels like just yesterday you shared your last entry. How you been there, Mr. Arc Knight? So I'll do these edge highlights on just edges you really want to bring out, and also, you know, usually on harder things like you know, armor, and in this case scales. They do it twice a year. Oh, well, that makes sense then. I'm not that I'm not that lost in time, I guess. All right. It's looking good. And now we'll start pushing in some shadows and some color variation. So I think maybe we want some variation between these larger scales and then these smaller scales. Just trying to think what tone we want to do. Maybe like more of, maybe we go in with our greenish mint green color. I feel like that might be too strong though. Decision-making time. Let me go look at my greens again, see if there's a different one we want to use. That's, I kind of want like a turquoisey color, but we want one that's a little bit on the darker side. Oops, sorry. Hopefully I didn't just freeze my camera. Forest green. What's this one? Marine teal. Ooh, that might be the one right there. Marine teal. Okay, and then we need purple as well. Let's see, maybe like a purple tinted gloss. That could be interesting. Eldritch purple. What about in here? I got some fluorescent purple. Okay. Okay, good. We got some fluorescent purple. Two different fluorescent purples. We got this eldritch purple and this purple tinted gloss. And marine teal. So let's start with this color. And we're gonna turn it into a wash, meaning we're gonna make it very soupy, almost like a consistency of milk. The thinner the wash, the more subtle the effect. You know, the less of the color that will kind of remain. So there we go. use a little bit bigger brush. Usually like something like this for applying washes. 1, 2, 3. Let's mix it up, see how it's doing. You kind of like run it on the side of your palette to see how well it's sticking. Yeah, that's not too bad. Maybe one more drop. There we go, that's better. It's like milk, consistency of milk. Okay, I'm gonna take this color here. I'm just gonna start kind of painting it in. Starting from the shadows and bringing it into the highlight area. And one thing you can do too, so to kind of get this blend here, I'll rinse my brush, kind of knock off the extra water, and then we can kind of take a clean brush and blend this edge here. You got to be quick when you do that kind of stuff though. And really, like, I just wipe my brush kind of on my, when I rinse my brush, I wipe off the excess water. So it's just kind of like a damp brush. It's not really like a... Okay, let's see, let's paint this here. All right, there we go. It's looking pretty good. Just that one, just adding that one tone, so that marine teal color, kind of on top of our dry brushed area. You can already see how much more dynamic that is. And then we're going to go in with like probably purples on these larger ones. And then, you know, sometimes you can just go overboard with the washes and you got to bring it back with more dry brushing. And you just kind of going back and forth like that until you have your finished result. And I'll do the same process for these orange areas. I'll probably go in with like maybe a brown wash, maybe a little more highlighting with that other color till we get our final result. But I think what we'll do is we're gonna have to leave that there for now, and we'll do a part 2 next week where we'll kind of pick up where we left off, and we'll get into the total finishing of this leg all the way to the finish line, and then we'll paint the books and get into how we're going to do all that, and then maybe discuss the face. I could see doing the face, so we'll focus on finishing the leg next week, which should give you enough info to do the whole drag, because you're doing the same process but over the whole dragon. So we'll finish the leg, we'll do the books, and then we'll talk about how to take on the face and the eyes and all that stuff. So I think that will be good. So yeah. All right, I'm excited. I really want to bite into this paint job here and see it through to the finish line. But it's gonna take more time. Let's head on over to Discord and check out your guys' work. Yeah, I definitely think we'll talk. We'll do the eyes, or do one of the eyes, and show you kind of how I approach it. If anybody's wondering, we are... this is the end of this class. We're currently raising funds for our next class, which will be how to sculpt a robot. So if you'd like to support my efforts, these classes are totally funded by you guys, and it keeps them free and available for everyone, and it also supports my work. So !fund if you'd like to help support the making of these. I'm also going to... let me check out... Let me thank Hardcore for the 40 or 64 months of support. Hi, hope you're having an amazing day. Hope the family is well. Keep up what you do. Everything looks amazing. Thank you, Hardcore. Appreciate that. Greg with the 24 months. Happy 2 years, Greg. You're officially stuck here forever. After subscribing for 24 months, the spell that I've been putting on you officially settles in, and you're stuck here. So glad to have you on board, matey. Avenklars with the 11 months. Well spent 11 months. Thank you very much, man. And Mr. Plantita with the 54 months. Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Plantita. What else was I say? Oh, yeah, highlights. So Twitch just announced that there's a limit now on the amount of stuff that can be saved as clips or highlights. And, of course, they're turning this on, and we already have... There's like 100 hours worth of footage you can have as a highlight. We already have 378 hours. So I have to go through and I have to downsize our highlights down to 100 hours, and then we can no longer add any more. So that being said, YouTube will be the main place to go and watch the past broadcasts of these classes. So thankfully we've been multi-streaming. That's kind of like a curveball to be thrown at people like that. Oh, by the way, all that work you've been doing, we're gonna need you to get rid of that. So yeah, they've officially announced. I think in April it sets in. So thankfully they give us enough time to actually go through. Crazy downsizing instead of upsizing. Yeah, it's I get it. I bet they have a huge overhead for like server space and stuff, but yeah, Jeez Louise. Thankfully, YouTube doesn't have any limits on that front, so that's so limiting. I know. But the lives will always be here on Twitch. You'll just have to watch the past broadcasts over on YouTube. Which, to be honest, is probably better anyways, because we're really trying to grow things over there. So, and actually watching a video on Twitch doesn't really help. It doesn't add up to anything. But when you watch a video on YouTube, it does. So, they have a much better ad payout system. So it's probably for the best in the end. But let's see here. Let's go over to Discord. I didn't even have mine open. So if anybody wants to join any of these classes, whether it's the Woodland Gremlin class, the Dragon class, or the next class, the Robot class, you're able to submit your work on Discord. And every week I go in there and I look at what you guys are doing, and we make any comments or let you know if there's anything you need to change or work on. So let me show you kind of what that looks like here. Head on over to do !Discord to get a link into Discord. And if you're new here, Discord is kind of like, or if you're new to Discord, it's kind of like a forum. It's just a place to post that only people from this community see. So when you first get here, go to the rules page and then click on this little dancing cnotbusch guy. It just kind of unlocks everything for you. Then you scroll down to cnotbusch School, and this is where you find general class info, so stuff about the class, information. I'll be posting a video on here that will give you guys. We're gonna make a robot class video that I'm gonna go over what tools and materials you're gonna need for the class. So if you plan on joining the robot class, make sure you're paying attention to this section. Okay, so then we got the final gallery. This is where you post your finished, if you do follow a class and you finish something, this is where you post it. And there's a lot of good stuff. A lot of gremlins. I'm imagining we're gonna see some dragons once we get to the end of the dragon class. So, all right. So we'll start with dragon class. This is where you post your work for the weekly review. So, let's see here. Oh, okay. Let's see. Where do we leave off? Okay, we've seen this. There's no sound. What's going on here? Oh, there we go. I guess I need to add the notification sound there on that other scene. Wait, what? Notification. Okay, let me see. Let me fix that real quick. Copy. Mr. Brightside, thank you so much, man, for the $20 tip. Thank you for contributing to our classes. We know what he said. Appreciate that, man. All right, let me add that here. Let's see, paste. Okay, there we go. Problem fixed. All right, let's see. What do we got here? Okay, I see. Week 15. I think I already seen this one. Yeah, Saradini showed me, so. Your finals up there? Did we already see the final? This right here? I don't know if we did. Okay. No, okay, all right. No, I think I did, but it was probably just during normal stream. That's why I'm confused. Oops. All right, yeah, take a look at that. Ah, I recognize these. I like that you did the titles, the book titles. That's a nice little addition. Ah, yes. Never-ending story, a little star constellation on there. That's pretty cool. I imagine this is before you did any brushing. That's why it's looking a little bit rough over here. Oh, scrolls. What a good idea. Let's take a look at that. Battle damage. You can go over with acetone if you want to. Either way, it'll look good. I like the way you coated the wood on the bottom with clay and textured it all the way through. It's nice. Yeah, the scrolls really worked out. Awesome. Very well done there, Clayton. Well done, my friend. Okay, and I think we've seen this, haven't we? Saradini? Let's see. Ah, yes. Yes, I remember seeing this. Next scales are... Oh, you're asking about the next scales and if they needed to be bigger or are the smaller ones working? I think the smaller ones are really working. They don't have to be big. These are all way better than what I would have made. Great skills. No, I disagree, my friend. And how could you know? I think anybody could follow these classes and do make something that I am potato. Well, see, okay, with that mindset, exactly right. You know, look, I say this to my 4-year-old when she says I can't. It's like, no, you need to say I can. I can do this. You're a human being. You're capable. Other human beings did these. That means you're capable of doing these too. So, yeah. So you can do it if you wanted to, but you just don't want to. So, but maybe, who knows? Maybe one day you will want to, and you'll follow one of the classes, and you'll surprise yourself. But yeah, everyone's capable. Everyone can sculpt. Okay, oh wait, let me read this. Slow but steady progress. I followed CNOT with the first book. I'm on the second with my own spin on it. Tomorrow, more to come. I'm going to Dream Dots. Okay, let's see here. Ah, yes. Experimenting with textures. This is good. Lots of dots. You would love to have I have a tool that makes like 4 or 5 dots per poke. I could see that coming in handy. But then again, it seems like you're spacing them out kind of really nicely. Some textures are just best done by hand, so. All right, that's looking good. I like the way your wings are really they really fit the character. Yeah, same thing. Okay, so you coated your base too with clay and did the wood grain. I like how that looks. First book done. Is that the second book then? That's the second book. Yeah. All right. Looking good there, Aaron. Keep it up. Lots of books to do. Bonus base coated blue baby balancing on beloved brown books. Okay. Ooh, hey, look at that. Well, great job with the books doing the the color variation. It's a subtle thing, but it's very important to base coat these in a different color. And I like this color right here. It looks like it's faded into the brown too, which is nice. It looks like we chose similar starting colors. Your blue's a little bit darker, so. Oh, and the metallic for the nails. Interesting choice. Yeah, interesting. Looking good, Clayton. Oh, here we go. More updates from Aaron's work here. Let's see. Is that a squid? Like is it part of the book, or is it like just a wizard reagent that mischievously ended up on the top of the book? Yeah, it looks really good. That's a big one. Yeah, that's a big dragon. Great. Very, very whimsical. Magical. Some still shots. Yeah, that looks really nice. All right. Awesome. I think a dynamic pose with the tentacles tells more of a story. The little dragon is reaching for something in the wizard's shop, unaware that he's awoken the kraken. Oh, okay. I see. That's right. Storytelling. That's what it's all about. Ope. Okay. All right. Great job, Clayton and Aaron and Saradini. Keep it up. And just remember, you can join this dragon tutorial right now today and post no matter where you're at in the class. It doesn't matter. So each week I'll check. Even when we're working on the robot class, I'm still going to check the dragon and the gremlin class and see if there's any new students that have joined. So speaking of which, let's head over to the gremlin class and see if there's any new gremlin action. All right. We do indeed. Okay, we've seen that one before. All right, let's see here. Jaro, hello there. Here's the work done since last time. I would like to make a hood for this guy, but I'm not sure how to approach the back of the head and neck with the stick in the way. Oh, I see. Okay. Let's take a look here. I like it. I like the outfit choice there. Oh, look at, I like those plated, that little plating that's like tied to the pauldron there. I think the hood would still work. Just, you know, a hood drapes around the objects, you know, so it would still work. You know, you could do like unless you're making the stick detachable, then you might have an issue. Then maybe you can make the hood attached to the stick, and so when you put the stick on there, the hood kind of goes right into place, you know, instead of the hood being attached to the character. If you're not making the stick detachable, then you just plop the clay over the stick, you know, just sculpt it in. Just sketch it on there, you know, just take some clay, stick it on there, kind of roughly sketch what the hood would look like, and then decide from there if that's something you think helps the design or if it's something you want to go with. Yeah, great job with the hands and the veining. I know hands can be the hardest part of this tutorial, I think, was the hands for people, so yours look good. Very animated. Looks great. Basket weave. I like the roping here. Looks like he's picking up like a coin or something. Oh yeah, I forgot you have two of them. I was like, wait a minute. Oh, we can go back, PB. We can go back. That's fine. All right. Yeah, okay. Okay, let's see here. Please help. I'm getting ready to start the gremlin class, and I just received all my supplies and made sure to get the Reaper MSP starter paint set. I went through all the video on YouTube, and the painting class day 1 is not there. And the rest of the videos have a figure already painted. Okay, yeah, so that was an issue with YouTube. There was a music soundtrack that played that made them take that video down. So it's available on Twitch. I'll be bringing it back to YouTube. It's just a hassle. I have to download the VOD from Twitch, go in with editing and remove that soundtrack and then re-upload it. So it's kind of a pain in the butt, but I'll get it back over on YouTube eventually. But for now, it's still available on Twitch, in case anybody's wondering. If you're following the Woodland Gremlin class, the first, I think it's the first painting class you have to watch over on Twitch. Yeah. 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 Thanks for commenting and updating Wildfire there. Day 1 complete. All right, look at that. Off to a great start. Tool. You got plenty of tools, I think. You're ready to go. That's looking good. Eyes are looking really symmetrical. Looks like this is, you're still in the building up of the shapes. And yeah. I don't see nothing that jumps out that's off there. Oh, here we go. Week 2, day 2. Remember, ready for the first bake. Okay. Let's see here. Yeah, look at that. Great job, man. I swear. I haven't seen a person who followed the gremlin tutorial that didn't do a great job, so that's looking good. Jaro, week 8. So we obviously haven't caught up in a while, but that's okay. Hood in progress, nothing permanent for now, just trying things. Okay, you did exactly what I said. Oh, I see. You went with like more of like a pointy hood. Kind of like those hooded hats that people used to wear, you know? It's like almost like a piece of leather they just bent over their head. Like, aha, my new hat. Beard finish and some adjustments around the tooling. Here's the advancement so far. Let's take a look. Oh, I like that hood. I think that's really good. I like that it's like super flat there on the front. It fits the character. Now it's actually smart when you do a hooded character to try not to make the hood too kind of protruding too much, because then it will cast the whole face in shadow. So if you really want to see the face, you don't want to do like a big brimmed hat or a hood. So it was a smart choice of doing the hood, but doing it in a way that it doesn't shade out the face. So this looks really good. This still here. Okay. Now this part does read a little bit almost like a little bit too flat. I feel like we need some more volume here or something. I noticed from that angle it kind of stands out to me that there maybe should be a little bit more volume on the bottom there. Because I could see that you maybe didn't add more volume because you're trying to keep this stick free and clear. So I'm just wondering if there's and maybe you just need to keep it that way for the sake of the functioning of the piece, of making the stick removable. And perhaps when you fill in the backpack with oh no, he's got like a cover over his backpack. Okay, so that I don't think there'll be anything else in there. I would try to fill this volume out a little bit more with like wrinkles or something. Something to make that back of his head not such a just steep straight cut off, you know. Look at that. What a character. That's so cool, man. Wouldn't it be cool if we had like a woodland gremlin meetup where everyone would bring their piece and we'd have like a live gallery? I think that would be so cool. When I taught at California State University, that was one of the best parts was at the end we had 30 like sculptures in one room, and we could see all of them and just had like a gallery showing, and it was just so much fun to walk around that room and see them all, you know, all in one place. So we'll have to settle for a digital gallery just like we got here, so that's okay. Maybe at some point in the future we can do like a live workshop at like Cosplay Central or something. All right, wildfire week number 3, day number 3. Homework will be the right side before baking. Concerned about the gap in the crotch area, hoping the clothing part will camouflage it. Looking forward to the small details for fun. Okay, let's see here. I see what you're saying. You can certainly make the clothing cover it up, you know. You can also add more volume. Pretty much, if you draw a line from the inner thigh, kind of to where the middle of that crotch area would be, and you filled that area with clay, then it's gonna read better. So from like point A to point B, you just make a straight line there with the clay, and you can define that volume however you want to. It could be like pants. You could even have like a little like where like he has a tucked in shirt and there's a part of the shirt that's coming down and covering that area up, or you can just add more volume there and fix it. So from here, from the knee straight to about there, not all the way to the middle, because obviously but usually with pants, usually it goes straight from the knee to the middle here, and you just fill that area in there, fill that area in there, and then it'll look much better. So just think point A, point B, draw the line, fill it in, make the volume read well. Okay, yeah. Everything else looks good. This arm armature looks a little bit long, but that's okay. You can shift it. I imagine so. Usually the elbow is right where the bottom of the rib cage is. That will look anatomically correct. So you can make his arms really long, and that's the wonderful thing about these type of characters is the proportions don't have to be perfect, but I feel like it might read a little bit better if the elbow is more of like imagine his arm is straight down, there's the bottom of his rib cage, so it should be right about there probably is where the elbow would bend. So I'll say. But shifting arms is easy to do. Shifting the legs is not, and your legs look fine, so looks good. All right. That's it. That's it, folks. Okay, I definitely look forward to our next painting lesson here. I'm really excited to get back into it. Like I said, next Sunday we'll get into the real finishing of this one leg, so you can see how to do the whole dragon. And then we'll start focusing on maybe we'll do one book to show you how I do the books, and then the eyes, and maybe like a horn or something. So you can just see each element of the dragon done. And then the homework will be to finish the piece. So I'll tell you how I plan to do how to make the bottom look professional and stuff. I'll probably do like black, just paint black around the trim here. I'll take this to a belt sander and I'll sand the bottom of it, make it nice and clean. Right now it's like all burned and nasty looking. So I'll sand this nice and flat and smooth, and probably wood stain the bottom. And then I'll add little, if you go to like the hardware store, you could get these little peel and stick felt pads, usually for furniture and stuff. And you put those on the bottom, and it just makes it nice to move it around a table when it's on display. So next Sunday, next class will be how to sculpt a robot. Next Sunday is another painting class. It'll be the last dragon class. Then we'll probably take like 2 weeks off before we start the robot class. So that means, let's see. So 4 weeks. So when is that? Let's see. Let me check the calendar here. Let's check our calendar. So next week, so that's the 2nd is the last dragon class. Give ourselves 2 weeks to finish. So 23rd. Sunday the 23rd will be the robot class, the beginning of the robot class. There we go. That's our official date. So. Oh yeah, PB. I'm sorry, I forgot. All right, you know what? Hey, sorry about that. I'm in my lost in thought here. Let's go back to the dragon here. Apologies. I forgot. It slipped my mind. Just some texturing, then bake, then onto the legs. Okay, let's see what we got here. All right. That's looking good. Some underbelly work. This looks like you really went into the anatomy and did like peeled the skin away from the dragon to see what's underneath. I've done that before. It's I can't remember what it's called. There's a special word for it where you build a sculpture in a way that like you're really adding the muscle layers, building all the way up to the skin. There we go. I like the chest scales going into the neck there. That line's reading really good. Yeah. All right. So this silhouette is reading really good here on the front, on the back, and the back of the neck. You're going to be very careful about your when you add volume there. Like really look at the silhouette of the dragon. So I could see that you'll want to add a little bit more meat onto the, especially in the shoulder region here. Maybe beef it up a little bit more. But we'll see when you get to that part. But really, when you're adding the back of your dragon on, just really kind of add the volumes and push it kind of away from you and look at it from afar and just see how the volume or like the silhouette is reading. Okay. But yeah, it's looking good. That part's looking really nice. Very good. Okay. All right. Let's see here. Let me find somebody to raid. We're going to get on out of here. Thank you, everybody, for joining me. And thank you all very much for the support. I appreciate it. We have the official date for the start of the robot class. I'm going to make a video that will let you know what you guys need to get. And we'll just go from there. So, and like I said, if you want to chip in to help the robot class be funded, ! Fund. Definitely appreciate that. Let's see here. Evil Ted. Evil Ted. I don't know if I know this person. Let's go raid Evil Ted. He's sculpting a mask. Looks pretty cool. Kind of like a skull or something. Evil Ted Smith. The name sounds familiar. Yeah, have a good rest of your weekend, folks, and I'll see you all tomorrow. Remember, this next week we're getting back into our normal project lineup, so be a lot of returning pieces that we'll be pushing to the finish line. So I'm pretty excited about that. Till next time, my friends. Bye-bye.